Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Hey, Keith.
What's happening? The team.
Keith, so good to meet you. I'll see you again. It's amazing. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. This is our first episode of Young Entrepreneurs, and I invited you for a number of reasons. One, you're not just young in age, but you're young in your journey. So that's a little bit of a, what do they call it? A double entendre, where entrepreneur, you don't have to be young to be a young entrepreneur. Remember that. So you could be the first time coming out of the box and you're 50, 60, 70 years old.
Like me.
Like you, exactly. How old was Colonel Sanders when he first did Kentucky Fried Chicken? I think he was in his late 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was pretty old. So that was another interesting story.
Ray Kroc was another older
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, which says it's never too late to get started.
That's right.
So
Uh,
the team, I want you to introduce yourself, your company, and tell us how you got started.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I agree, Keith. Age is just a number, and it happens with everybody, so it is overrated. But I love the fact that young entrepreneur, the meaning means the once you have just started. I am an little engineer from Bombay. I am an MBA from Chennai. Spent about between these two a decade working with some of the biggest consulting companies of the world, helping them set up, address client problems across the world, doing what was needed out of me. And the end result was I was integral in creating multi-billion dollar businesses across the world. The fun thing was uh, it all of it happened by people, by connecting people, by people making people. I was able to connect teams that loved each other, and then we figured out everything else. And of course, you are smart and you can do things. So that when I came here, I thought that hey, I should do it for me. And here is where I am for the last 2 months. I'm a new entrepreneur, trying to make waves, trying to help companies in my own way. And thank you for giving me time today. So.
You're quite welcome. So, Greg, as I told you, I've been coaching the team in learning the intricacies of sales and presentation, but I'm not going to start on the sales side. So, why don't you? I'm sure you have a number of questions. I'm going to let you get started and interrogate him.
But the team, first of all, tell me where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm in Toronto, and Toronto is perfectly sunny this week.
Awesome. That's great. Great.
Today's
Hey,
our
just
first
tell
day.
us tell us a little bit about your thought process as you thought about entrepreneurship and some of the things that went through your mind as you went down this path of becoming a young entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurship was never really in my mind. I come from a lawyer's background, and my lawyer's family, not a background. And I have seen how it operates. It operates a little bit like a management consulting firm, you can say. So, growing up, I had this feeling that there is one person of interest around which people come and they operate. So this is how a lot of businesses also run. It was never to be an entrepreneur, but I was a good employee. You can say I was a good employee before my like in all the places that I worked for. I liked what I did. I think I was lucky. Also, finding the things is also the deal. Like for example. One of the companies I work with is a big four, and there are people that make something a big four. Like it is always the people. So getting to work with such people, and they may be anybody, leaders, executives, colleagues, but it is always finding those people. So very lucky to have found all of those things, and it is around those journeys when there were people were telling me that hey, you are the entrepreneur. You have helped us set up this thing. Why don't you try it for yourself? Those things kept working, and I did not have a problem to solve for it. And but when I came to Canada, and all of the current global situations that we are facing, like thanks to COVID and whatnot, made businesses a little difficult. And this is where I was finally able to find my gap, and here I am trying to solve it.
Great, that's great. You mentioned a few minutes ago about connections, with people. Just talk a little bit about that and how that's influenced your entrepreneurial journey.
That is the core of it, Greg. I'll take another quick story. Back in 2017, 2018, I get a call from a senior manager saying that, hey, Nitin, and that time I was just touring India. I want you to go to this place, XYZ, and I'll give you 4 or 5 people. You meet them on an airport. Learn this product. Do it if you want to. Don't do it if you don't want to. And then take your flight to wherever you want. Like, sometimes the companies can be fantastic, the ways you operate in. So I meet this group of people, 4 or 5 people, first time in the airport, and we love each other right then. There is, how in a group of friends, somebody says, let's go party, and you transfer the energy. So it was that energy. And it in the first second. And then we had a great time in that XYZ city. We learned the product already. It's just a product. And then we started nailing it. I started a team which was 5 people, which is right now more than 100 people, and has been self-sustainable for 4 years now because I moved to Canada 3 years back. And it has created an ecosystem of not just that technology, but everything that is, everything needs to connect and combine, but it is the people that do things. And then coming back to people, the reason why we liked each other was because we understood each other. We spent time with each other. As a leader, I defended them. When we had problems, you accept it, then you solve it, you talk it out, and you figure it out. And then it was so interesting that when COVID had hit in Jan, Feb, I was around 20 people. And I remember having a conversation with my leader that, hey, since COVID has hit and businesses are going to, like the day we said that, okay, stop coming to office, I told him that, hey, are we going to downsize our team? And then he's like, I don't know. And in the next 6 months, we doubled. We doubled because things went, customers and employees could not go to companies. So the companies had to go to employees and customers. Where I was working was around feedback. So that worked. But Greg, even if that did not work, I could say that, hey, I was one of those lucky industry that, just made it. But even if that would not have happened, my people knew me. And I was able to connect and tell them that, hey, if I have work, I give you work. If I don't have work, I can't give you work. And they love me. I write it about in my book. It's in my research paper, Greg, and it is about negative turnover. People leave, employees don't care and they go. But then there are employees who go, do whatever, and they come back to you. And
Sure.
there are so many people, and there are so many challenges we keep talking about. Like, these are great inspiration stories that inspire people. When people start seeing that, hey, you're a part of something big, then whoops, that's the way you're going. You don't have to get it. You slowly you get better.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
But I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you definitely did. I think the fact that
please, no, just kidding.
making those people connections is so critical, regardless of where we're at in the entrepreneurial journey. Regardless of what we do, it's just so important that we make those kind of connections and that we value the people that are around us, whether they work for us, with us, side by side. Really, really important.
Absolutely. I completely agree to your point.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your book.
So my book is a visualization of what our world could look like, which has trust, respect, focus when somebody is singing the same tune. It's a business fiction set out in Toronto, wherein there's this company called Broadview Enterprises, which is a new setup right after pandemic, but is doing waves, very profitable, employees love it, customers love it, and it's cracking all code. So the biggest newspaper wants to know what is it that you're doing, and they task in their senior most journalist, Harvey Chase, to find out what is it that this company is doing, that their employees love it, that customers love it, and they're making money also. And then over series of next chapter, few chapters, he realizes, and like it's the journey. The book is that journey. Like, what is it that people are coming back to this company? What is it that they are doing? What is those actionable things? And the book is written in such a way that these insights can be used by teams. So while it is a fiction, the feelings are conveyed in such a manner that you can start using those insights in teams. Like, for example, one of the principles is with every feedback, there must be something actionable. Like, give feedback, whatever you want to, but give the next step so that reduces toxicity and increases, betters the communication. So their actionable suggestions about it. It was very interesting. So this is what it is. The book is about 1 hour of read. So I wrote it with the intention that executives can read it on their short flight, because you can have at least 1 hour on a flight. Like I don't think 2 hours you can read, but 1 hour you can read a fantastic book if you see it on a shelf. So that was the goal behind the book.
I don't know if I read that fast.
Well, actually, you know what? Have you read this book called Animal Farm by George?
Wow.
That
That's from when I was a kid.
Yes, yeah, it takes you to the and those are kind of book that you don't want to read fast. Like, yes, I can finish it in 3 hours, but I take my time because I want to think. I want to fly when you're saying the pigeon. I want to relate it to what is happening. So like, there are great books that you relate to different things at different time. I'm not saying my book is great, but you can aim.
Nitin, what prompted you to write it?
One Wednesday, so it is one Wednesday I woke up and I was fresh in my mind thinking about what are some interesting things I should do. Consulting is about positioning. And since I'm new, but I'm not unexperienced. So I'm here to make a point and I need to show things. And this is how you create value. This is how you sow the seeds. So when I started a couple of months back, I wrote a research paper. And then I wrote a research paper because I thought that people must know, like I'm not saying it out of thin air. And then that Wednesday, I woke up and I was like, okay, what is that? Another interesting thing I can do. So I was like, let's write a book. And I was like, wow, that is fantastic. I'm like, what's stopping me from writing the book? I'm like, nothing. So in the next 1 week, I wrote the stories because all of these stories have happened to me. I've heard it. And so, it was all waiting to be written. I never knew that I would be an author. So, that happened. And here I have the books, 30% ready, manuscript ready inside a week. And now my focus is over there. But the real, it's the hustle. It's the hustle of entrepreneurship. Everything that, you start with an euphoria and you take that momentum, but you have to carry that whole ship forward. Every day you have to carve it a little bit. You have to clean the characters. They're characters they have different personalities. Like the way, we talk, we smell, we sense. The book should talk about that. So while I was writing it, while I was adding more detail, like it was also, again, like management consultant, which I was like, the whole point is that you have to complete the loop. Like if it sounds complete, then people will be convinced. And that's how I wrote it. Like that's how it came to my mind. And I was trying to find creative ways. I could not afford a person to review my book. So I heard my book 35 times. You know how you have these apps where you have your PDF, they can read it, that boring AI voice. So my goal was to, how my book has to be so interesting that this boring voice becomes interesting.
Now, is it an audio book or is it a just print?
It is ebook and print. There is a paperback and a hardcover available. I am working on getting the audible version ready. And again, like Keith, that brings another aspect of the problem because I was just thinking that either I can record it or I can get people to record it because, to add more flavor. And then I was like, wow, some of the scenes are very dramatic because, when they do that big thing, they have their leader goes la 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 la, and then he raises his voice and then says something. So there is drama in it. And then I was thinking, and only earlier this week, like once I get into audio, you have to think about it. Like either it can be a bland one person, Morgan Freeman, hey baby type speech, or you can have some person, having conversation. So new paths come in, but yeah, that is definitely on cards. If I'm able to get it by next month, that'll be fantastic.
How do you plan on marketing it?
So my book is a vision of my work. So it is very closely related to my work also. I'm reaching out to book influencers. I'm reaching out to, and Amazon, I've used Amazon provides a good platform to publish books for somebody who's not done it. So it's a big process, but then, now that the book is out, I am present on social media. I'm going to get it out to my people. I am also involved in speaking events because it's a form of networking that I'm doing. I am giving it off to people. Yeah, these are my ways to and I have not yet tried ads for me, but I think this is a great opportunity to, target it as an ad. Keith, and coming back to why also I wrote the book, because it's a template. So I would want the future employees of Infinitum, which is the name of my company, to see that book like as maybe as an onboarding document. Like, what is it that this company stands for? And it stands for simple things, but it holds grounds on that and say that, hey, in Infinitum, your feedback is welcome, but you got to give something. So this is how it is different. So so there is monetary benefit, but then there are some other benefits that I'm also foreseeing. I cannot quantify it though. I hope I answered your question.
No, that's fine. So in terms of, I mean, you and I have spent probably the last 6 weeks for at least an hour a week talking about business in general, but specifically sales and marketing and how to market yourself. What do you think is the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from our time together in terms of how to promote yourself and sell yourself?
Keith, the first thing is I want to thank you for being so fantastic. Like, you are a great man, and it's a great question that you asked, because when I was asked a similar question, I had said that, hey, I was looking for a mentor, and it happened that you wrote something and we got connected. So one thing that comes first is that when I learn from you, when I share whatever I'm telling, your answer gives me that feeling that, hey, I'm heard, I'm supported. And then you're looking for the holistic picture. And that is very important because, that gives me that comfort space. And your ability to create that, Keith, also come up with things like, I don't know how, sometimes you come up with things that I'm thinking. And again, because you have been there and done it, really appreciate that. And, we may not have answer to every question, and that is fine. But if we are able to say that, hey, we are there with you, we are on your side, I think that's a win. I see that. I learned that from you. I wish to be better learning from you.
Well, listen, the first thing is you learn, then you implement, you learn some more, and then you implement, and then you keep going. And I like to say, and Greg and I use sports as an analogy, you got to get your at-bats. Okay,
Well,
that's a baseball thing. You got to get your at-bats. Swing the bat. You're going to strike out sometimes. You're going to get some hits. Occasionally you'll get a home run, but that's business. That's true entrepreneurship. I said to Greg probably more than once that you're not an entrepreneur till you fail.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say that, but your failure is your best teacher.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We don't want to fail, but we learn a lot when we do fail.
I've mastered the art of failing.
I love Simon Sinek's analogy also. He says that,
he's very
yes,
good. Simon Sinek. I enjoy him very much.
He says that call it fall, because some people find failing like, hey, how can I fail? But when you say fall, a kid can fall and you get up. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's a good way of saying it. But absolutely, you got to fail. And it's the mindset that challenge is opportunity. Failure is feedback. And that is the security that you create in the environment. I think that is very powerful.
Yeah. So and Greg, I think we both said almost at the same time 2 weeks ago, the Edison quote, where I haven't failed 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. Okay. So that's why I said failure is such a great teacher. Painful. Okay. It's not easy to fail and accept it and get back up and brush yourself off and just move
Right.
forward. But what are your options? Go get into bed, put the covers over your head and call it a day? That's not life.
Well, there's only one way not to fail, and that is not to try.
Mhm.
Cool. Then why don't you talk a little bit about what your vision is? Like, what do you hope to be doing 5 or 10 years from now?
Uh, that's a very far away vision, Greg, but I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to be able to create an organization that is able to create trust in people and say that, hey, when you go through Infinitum, it really helps us understand our employees and address some of the biggest concerns that I'm doing. So in the next, you can say 2 to 3 years, I want to be able to create a presence, and be able to deliver on that. I am saying that when you work with me, I'm going to help you improve your retention and increase your growth by up to 10% annually. Now, and I think this is very interesting because everything in the world is evolving, and I think consulting also needs to evolve. Consulting needs to become more results driven consulting. Like somebody needs to stick their face out and say that, hey, when you work with me, this is what you're going to get. And I don't know where this is going to land, but in the next 2 to 3 years, I want to hit that. And I don't want to win it, but I want to be on my way wherein I can say that, hey, if you work with me, I can give you a number and this is where we head. And if we do the right thing, it'll work. So, let's be brave and let's take things like that, because the world is changing very fast. And, especially like in the next 5 to 10 years, you can say 30% of the global workforce is going to be Gen Z. They are not taking it. They are not taking it. They need the why for everything that they are asking. And I think it's fair we to be able to say the why that maybe as a millennial I was not asking, because that was not the most burning question. But if it is the burning question now, like we gotta start thinking about it.
So what do you think is most important to your generation? Is it, are you money driven, or are you a success driven with the thought that the money will follow by having a goal, working through it? Where is your mindset when it comes to, I guess, capitalism?
Um, I think success is when I'm doing things I want to do. I think that's success, and I'm content with that. Now I can be at a beach and not do anything. I love doing that. I can go and dance. I also love that. Is also like it. When it comes to money, it has to be. I had opportunities wherein if I stayed, my path to something was clear. But when I try to reflect back and see that, hey, do I see myself as the leader of this organization 10 years from now? I could not see myself there. So it is always success to me is, can I move people? I'm that people person. I can give energy to people. And when I give energy, uh, and it creates something, of course, the end result, output is a money. We talked about it, like a world where money is an output, not the goal. Like you are going to get money. I think there is enough money for everybody in the world. It's the way we look at it. And there's enough love for everybody in the world, but it goes by the side. So success to me is like, I don't know where this is going to go, but what I'm doing when I'm early 30s, yeah, I think that is success. Like I was able to learn. I spent 10 years. I slogged. I made a lot of friends. I did things like I I do things that I like to do, and I'm trying. My friends are proud of me, so I think that is going all right. I'll find. Like, it's a long game, and but I'd love to have this conversation again, and then you can drill me that. Whoa, boy, you were saying this 2024.
Well, that's true. I'd like to go back to what I was thinking. I know what I was doing when I was your age, but it was a very rapid pace, just every day. It was exciting. I mean, I loved being an entrepreneur, but I spent too much time chasing money instead of chasing something that was really more valuable, which is health and happiness. You know, if you look at the most successful people, I mean, I'm talking about people that are, you know, in the hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. You know, they may tell you they love it, but if you look at them and I don't know what kind of life they have. They don't see their families. They're constantly, you know, traveling somewhere. They have all kinds of, you know, pressure, anxiety. And for some reason, I craved that. And I thought that's what I wanted. But as you get older and you start to see that that's really not what life's all about. You know, so I'm very envious when I speak to someone who's young and they're more interested in their life experience as opposed to, oh, I want to make a lot of money. Okay, well, tell me why you want to make a lot of money. I mean, what's missing in your life now? If I said, what can't you do that you want to do because of money? What would your answer be?
What can I not do? I did not catch that question.
What can't you do because of lack of capital that you feel you want to do?
Nothing. Like I can do everything without money also.
Okay.
I
So
don't want to sound like Grant Cardone saying that, hey, I'll become a millionaire like this. But what I'm saying, Keith, is that it is the body language, that it is that energy that we give. And that energy is priceless. Um, uh, most of the people don't even ask for this. So if I don't have money, I will ask for something. And no, I'll not ask for money. I'll ask for something wherein I can give you value. Because I have confidence in me that I can do interesting things if I have not. So that is why I don't want to disregard money. Like it is very important, but you are not driving me. I drive you. As in, the god of money would be laughing at me like, who the heck are you? But whoever you are, but I have my ways, and I know that you're there to help me, but I know you cannot help me all. Like, yeah, I'm coming back to capitalism might be a great first step, but now is the time to take the next step. That, hey, money has gotten us until here, which is fantastic, but we clearly see that it is not solving everybody's problem. Like we just talked about, maybe there is just enough. So what is that one thing? What are some things that we need to add over it? I'm not saying bad. I'm saying now time to add, since everything is evolving, and we see that over a period of time. Like now we have, the way I see this is that now we have better problems to solve for. Like imagine just 10, 15 years back, that deployment would take 2 days. Now it's a click of a button. now we have machine learnings on our phones. So it is life is going to be easy only. And but I'm like, again, this is made for me. I'm not made for these, because I'm made for people. So maybe adding some fulfillment and work. Like, yes, gaining a lot of money is great, but getting to know the end result, that, hey, you made those people happy, you made those people, do something. You had this, and then market that. Like, I think that is the best marketing. Like that organic marketing is the best marketing. And I've just started doing it. It has been interesting. I've been trying to say things and learn from what my audience does. But I think that is very impactful. And actually, Greg, that is a part of my book also. It talks about something that, when you are in that zone, when you are in that communication, when you talk to people, then you can say things with that level of engagement. And that is the genuine engagement I'm talking about. Like not a CEO email, weekly CEO email that nobody opens. Like something that people care about.
Yeah, I think your passion really comes through when you talk, Etienne, and that's really fun to hear. The other thing you mentioned a few minutes ago, and I'd like you to expand on this, but you talked about being in this for the long game. I think a lot of young entrepreneurs want quick and fast success, but you specifically mentioned kind of the long-term view. Just talk about that a little bit in terms of how that, how you develop that thinking, but also how it plays into your vision and what you want to do going forward.
I will start with an inspiration and then I'll tell you why. Inspiration comes from my grandfather. He was one of India's senior most lawyer. He practiced law for 72 years. He passed away when he was 104. So long term comes from that. He practiced law for 72 years. Like in some cultures, it is said that if you do something for 27 years, you mastered it. He took it for heart and he did it 72. So I had seen like in his practice, I saw people trying to impress him, and I was growing kid. I was like, nah, this guy is trying to impress. What not? So long term comes from that. You create your everything is about reputation. People are coming like people don't do business with name. People do business with people, and good things take time. Uh, Also long term because why do I need short? What is it? Like, if it is short term, it is most likely money. So, which is fine. Like, I don't want to put it on but long term because the biggest transformation, I'm trying to solve for six problems. I am solving, I'm ensuring that your companies, your employees are aligned with the goals. Your executives know what employees want. Nobody is doing. I'm ensuring that the feedback goes in. Like there are ways by which you're taking feedback always. I'm ensuring that your communication is on spot. Engagement is on spot. I'm ensuring that there are transparent ways of addressing conflict. And I'm ensuring that you are addressing and forecasting the change as well. Because the world is changing. Your organization is going to change. All of these things, the reason why I'm specifically targeting these things is because they are not targeted today, or they are the elephants in the room that people think that HR is going to solve for you. But if your employee is not engaged and they don't care about you, your marketing campaign is going to fail. And your HR cannot help you do that. But this is a long run. This is a long game. This is a long game because it starts with understanding your employees. And then it starts with asking them what is it that they want. And then seeing if we can do, like, you take the first step. And then they take the first step. So that is a long game. I cannot promise you that, hey, your transformation will be done in 2 years. That would be a short sell. And it is always the other reason also why long term is because the more you are able to upsell to one client, the more it shows the loyalty that you have generated. Because some more often than not, like in my experience, I've been lucky to see that some of the best clients that we had, we did everything for them, and for good reasons. They were like, "Hey, we have this. Can you guys do this? Can you?" I think that's a great spot. Like, I want to be that salesman. Wherein the best selling is not no selling. Thank you. But in a space spot wherein they come and say that, hey, I want, and there has been moment. Once one of our leaders, they came to me and then they're like, Nitin, they're coming for you. They're not coming for the company. And there are many benefits of long term, and it's like if you are able to add value.
Yeah, when you have,
Apologies for such a long answer.
yeah, well, no, that's fine. So, well, you and I talked about this, Nateen. The brand itself may be the attraction, but once you get through the doors or on a call, it's that personal relationship. You can ruin a brand with someone who is not in line with the company's mission and goals, and that's really what you're trying to accomplish as an entrepreneur. And in your business model, that's one of your pillars is to make sure the company is aligned, in their vision, in their culture. So it's interesting for someone so young to have such a intelligent view of what this is supposed to be about, because clearly for me, I was not there because I saw everything as, again, I said I was chasing money because I thought success was about how much money I had, what car I drove, how big was my house, how big was my property, what were my vacations, what kind of jewelry. All that, frankly, is bullshit. It took my whole life to get to that point. Yet I find my children, and who are your age, okay, see it the same way. It's about, I want a happy, healthy existence. the money is important. Don't get me wrong. You still got to pay your bills, but do you need 3,000 square feet of a home, okay, to be happy? Because someone's gonna, that you're friendly with, you. Oh, that's a great house and beautiful. Oh, he lives in this neighborhood. And like, does that mean you're a good person? Absolutely not. Now, you still may be a good person along with that. But at the end of the day, I'm at a point in my life, I could be happy with a good book, lying on my couch, on a balcony, doing nothing. And I'm a happy man. Now, I was happy doing that 30 years ago, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't, it was so, I couldn't separate, the things that truly mattered, because I thought everything was about, my success. So success, I think, is defined differently by your generation versus mine and Greg's.
Well, and I think it's certainly individualized, right? I think maybe when you and I were growing up, Keith, success was kind of defined for us, where
Yeah.
I think the next generation is really defining success for themselves.
That's a very good point. I mean, they seem to have much more control, probably because we either they fought for it, or we allowed it, or we just, I don't know. It must be God's will that basically the way they come through these different generations, and the evolution is not just physically, but it's emotionally, because as we evolve as not just a country, but as a world, in terms of the things that our children grew up with the internet. We didn't have the internet. We had a phone with a wire attached to it that, the
Right.
big excitement was early in my marriage, they came out with a cord that was much longer. So you could walk around into other rooms while you were on the phone, on your shoulder like this. With the phone. Greg knows what I'm talking about, And
I used to get a sore neck.
Oh yeah. So it's really funny. I mean, it's really for us, again, we say young entrepreneurs, but I mean, I honestly, I enjoy speaking to somebody who's not only young chronologically, but young in their journey of, their careers and what they want, because we get to hear how you see the world versus how we see the world.
Yeah, Keith, that was so interesting. I'd start talking about the gap. The reason why I'm solving these problems is because this is what I saw across the global clients that I was working with. The best clients, the best people performed in a way. You might see some of that in the book. The ones who are not, and who am I to pass judgment best or not? But the ones who are not the most efficient, they were missing out on something. And they were things here. And the anecdotes, and the things that I did to make those work are the things I'm doing in the company that I've started. Because people are not addressing problems. And, you have to create an irresistible offer. So how is it that I can create something that you need now, which you have money for, even though, it's recession? So I need to have something that solves your burning problems. And in my 10 years of experience is when I realized it, that, hey, let's start with this. And once we have this, we can solve everything. Once you have your people, once you have your employees with you, then you can do anything in the world. So I thought that this is a pressing issue that we are not solving for. That is one. I completely agree. This, I think, is because of the information flow. When I was 10, 10, 11, 12 is when internet started becoming very. And imagine if you had internet growing up, like when you were 6, 7, just imagine. Imagine you had a Wikipedia that would answer every question, and our conventional notions would have been questioned. So maybe the generation which we were growing, I had so many, I still have so many questions, so angry about so many things. But you can still answer, retrospect, think about it, and then I think the form of education became more linear, because now you don't need to read a whole book to get the gist. Somebody is going to put it on social media. So if you're following those type of things, like it is like somebody who's a speaker, and you find the gist, and that way you can find your path fast. I'm saying that you don't have to recreate the wheel. And Keith, you nailed it. That you set up your son for success because you gave him the principles and the background of everything that he, kids growing up also. And I'm working with some entrepreneur kids of entrepreneur parents, and they say that, hey, our kids, since we are serial entrepreneurs, our kids saw us, and so there is an entrepreneur inside them. We know it. So you have sown seeds of that, and it is really easy way to see things. But again, on the split side, you can also unsee it. And I have Google, so
We had Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, which once Greg, you had that too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Or the
World Book.
World Book Almanac, yes. So I mean, that only came out once a year, And I remember seeing, we had a little bookcase, and I remember the first year was 1964. Now that's scary, right? That's 60 years ago. And then 65, 66, 60. And there was a lot of things going on in the world, but we didn't know about. I mean, there's so much that we're only learning about history from back then today because it was hidden, unless somebody wrote a book about it. Now it's like, you just, you voice activate, and ask a question. Now you have AI. Look, that will become a whole other episode. We talk about tech from yesterday compared to today, but this was a lot of fun. Is there anything you'd like to ask Greg and I before we end the session?
I have no. I had a great chance, a great time here. I'm really thankful for inviting me, and I would love to connect with you, Greg. Like, I chat with you every time, every week.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm looking forward to our
Me
next
too.
one. It's going to be so much fun. Feel free to be as ruthless as you were in the last one. Greg, I'll set up some time with you. I'd love to spend more time and get to know you more.
That sounds good. It sounds really good.
All right, so we're going to end the first episode of BizTalk Weekly Entrepreneurs. Natine, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And Greg, as always, we have so much fun when we do this.
We do, Keith. Yes, this was really good.
Yeah,
A good inaugural
all right, so we're
session.
signing off. Hold on one second.